Back to the show. So, TSM maybe looking stronger, or maybe it's a weaker Optic. We will find out as the evening goes on. TSM taking the pick of Optic, which was Cash. Now you move on to Cobblestone, TSM's pick. Do you have expectations, Dan?
No, not really. I think it's a little bit... just the results are all so weird that it's hard to really extrapolate any kind of prediction or projection as to what should happen. Because a lot of it does actually come down to day by day, how some of the individuals are performing. Because especially with teams like this, you often can get situations where one individual can take a team really over the line. And the way that previously that TSM had been set up, it did really feel like SEMPHIS would always get put in these positions where we want this guy SEMPHIS to go and take the risks for the team. And when you watch the team, if he's hitting his shots and stuff, if he's really hitting that flow of consciousness, it's amazing to watch. It's really entertaining, but it is quite gambly. And if he's off on that day, or if he's just kind of average that day, then his team are going to suffer for that because they're not relying on as many other things, as much other structure to get them through otherwise. So it's really individually based, which is why it's hard for me to predict. But mixwell hasn't been playing super well in the last couple of games we've seen. Hopefully he'll be able to step it up this map, and we'll get a good Cobblestone. But Optic are starting off on the T side, so they will get to dictate the pace.
Yeah, and again, we cannot stress the importance of the first pistol round for the CT side. Mixwell starting as he means to go on. The man looks angry, Dan.
Yes, he does, and that's a really good way to start indeed. And they've taken over the A bomb site. There's one player there causing a little bit of mischief. It is autimatic, but he will be silenced by mixwell as well. So now 3 versus 4. Very doable here for the CTs, but starting to look worse and worse. The headshots are raining in all one side, and it is the T side. So Optic with the pistol, and now they force TSM to some bad economy. That's never fun on Cobblestone to lose that CT pistol. And again, we saw it on the last map too. It just delays that up on SEMPHIS, and SEMPHIS' teammates were picking up quite well for him in that regard, but still, it's a bit awkward. But that said, we've seen a lot of these these force buys win lately, so.
Yeah, and I think force buys win considerably more in North America than they do in Europe, at least from the matches that we witness. And there we go, that's Twistzz off to a good start, not to be confused with the rapper Twistzz, Dan. Let's see how much more Optic can lose in this round, or if they will survive the test. 6 alone on the statue, and Stanislaw is now tagged 50 HP. We've got the Sauna coming in, but NAF-FLY can't find the frag. mixwell's the only man to get a kill so far. And no, the Optic side are getting wiped out here. So Rush has 2 people to find. This is very doable for Rush, but he is in a lot of trouble at the same time because the bomb's down in the middle of the site. He should be able to retrieve it. Actually, this spot is better than it could be, because bearing in mind Twistzz has a sawn-off and he is nowhere near the site, it's going to be hard for him to advance, and indeed he will have to focus on the CZ. FNS, though, is in a strong position once this bomb goes down.
Yeah, Rush is, I think, the most consistent performer lately that I have seen from Optic. His level's pretty impressive, and this is interesting, actually. He's going to be pushing forwards. This is actually maybe going to end up being one of the most dangerous plays, but he's afraid to plant the bomb because he doesn't know how close the CTs actually are. So he's going to take the gamble into Twistz's position, and Twistzz definitely has the edge here. Unless Rush looks his way, but he won't. Good position there from Twistzz, and very hard call for Rush. He doesn't have the information, and that's really important that he doesn't have that information, that neither of the CTs makes a move or a noise or gives anything away. That's very smart by TSM, and due to that fact, forcing a situation where Rush doesn't have any information to go on, TSM will win the round. So that's ridiculous, and it's funny because we were kind of setting it up. Well, Optic start well, they got to beat these pistols, and these pistols seem to be winning a lot. Boom. Immediately 3 Ts die to the pistols.
So great situation for TSM now. They will allow Optic to force the issue, but Optic have little to do it with. If they can, though, execute into, say, the B-bomb site, they have a chance. However, the bomb is towards A long. That's getting taken down straight away. There goes mixwell as well. And we have the remainder of the team moving towards A, which is reasonably weak at the moment, but there is a bit of a crossfire here. That's a lovely nade coming in as well, leaving Rush on 15 HP, and no one's down for the CT side yet. Using the range advantage are these CTs not losing a single player. That is monstrous for their economy going forward.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Optic going for the play that you just it only makes sense to go for the force buy after losing against a force buy. Would go into the reasons why, but I'm sure most of you understand why that would be. So
I don't understand why.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Too late in the evening, Dan, to be trolling you in such a fashion.
Yeah. So it just Glocks for Optic. This is really awful this round because you kind of just want to go and die, but you also don't want to throw away what you know. You don't want to not try because maybe you will get something going. Maybe someone's going to mess up. You know, human error is a thing. Maybe Twistzz is going to, I don't know, fall out of his chair and need to pick up an AK. I don't know. But it's like he'll stay stationary in his chair and he will pick up all the kills.
Twistzz with 77k in the bank, and he spends $200 down, and he has a full buy. That is perfection. Ooh, TSM going double op straight away. Double op on Cobblestone, I think, is not always the easiest to get going. I mean, you can put one over towards A long. I do wonder how many frags are reached there, considering most people go for a passive position.
Yeah, the AWP is actually really, really strong on this map. If you can hit your shots, obviously. And the reason is just due to the fact that there's so many like long corridors, especially towards A, whereby you can get frags untraded because you can get one shot, peek behind the corner, get the reload, or reposition, and then things can go on like that. So if you hit your shot, it's very hard for them to trade you. That's why a player like Cañellas is so insanely dangerous, because he's such a fast player that he can run circles around you.
It's good if you're doing that from the more aggressive positions, but when you're playing it passive, I mean, autimatic started aggressive, but went straight back to being at the back of A long. Then you are like, I notice there's a lot less kills gained from that position, and it's harder to retake. So autimatic's, he's picked up the second AWP, and he's played it passively, been forced off his position immediately, and now he's stuck on the side. So if they choose to push to A, where it looks like a split's coming in, we'll see how useful that AWP will work out being, because it might be that the T's are all over the site once he starts engaging.
Yeah, actually Optic have done a great job in using grenades to actually force the CT setup back so they can go for this A split. They don't have many nades left, but what they've invested is definitely worth its weight in gold at this point as they open up the doors towards A with the split. So far it's good. Automatic on the site needs a big, strong result with this AWP. Boom, 2 shots. 3 players now for autimatic. Can he make it 4? mixwell going in the no-scope. Won't land. 2 versus 2 now as Sick and SEMPHIS arrive, or are soon to arrive on the scene. Sick just going for it with the UMP. Not slowing down at all to wait for Mr. SEMPHIS, but in does come SEMPHIS with that AWP of his. And if he was to have, or suddenly wake up, now would be the time to do it. Good positions by the T's. Optic certainly with an advantage, and now we can see the lasers going over the smoke, and that's going to be 1 free frag from mixwell. And mixwell gets the next one as well. So SEMPHIS, lights out for him, and that is a quick round won by Optic. But TSM's money, despite double AWP straight away, looks kind of good actually. Obviously not for SEMPHIS and automatic, but the rest. After
winning that, the force buy, they had 2 rounds where they did not lose a single player. I think that if TSM are going to play passive with the AWP towards A long, then they need because once they lost all that real estate over there, they basically had both players playing on site, playing alone, where they weren't supporting each other and they had no trade situation. If you look at how, say, Fallen and FNX play, or Fallen and Third play, there's lots of support for the AWPer, and they have a really strong setup. Whereas that was just completely missing. So this is the more aggressive AWPing I was talking about. That's where you can go for the repicks again and again. And he puts a smoke down to escape, but if you look at Wild and it play those angles, he's just going to hold those angles for days if he has support from lower, which I don't think autimatic had, which would make it a better argument for just simply retreating on that pickup there.
Yeah, the funny thing is that the T smoke actually helped him there as well, giving him like another smoke to run through. Either way, TSM with that man disadvantage going for the B play now to try and make good of their disadvantage, of their situation. But what is this aggression Sick just runs in. This is absolute madness right now, and they had a man advantage, but they give it up. Looks like SEMPHIS will claim one back in favor of his squad. SEMPHIS connecting a couple of shots here, and that's all he needs to do, it would seem, as the TSM side pick up another round. So backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Optic, though, getting the worst side of the coin.
I think that push through the smoke was completely stupid by TSM. Yes, they won the round, but the problem is, I mean, sure, they're like, oh yeah, if there's a guy in the corner, we can flash him. But the problem is, the flash was so basic, it's bouncing all over the place, it's very obvious as to what they're doing. So if there is someone there, which there was, they can easily look away from it. They can call that there's a flash and there's a push. If they've got somebody behind the box at the back of like this area where stanislaw is now, then you can just shoulder peek after the flash goes off. And worst case scenario, the T's will trade, and that's not really great for TSM despite being a man up. So stick with a more aggressive situation this time. How many can he get? Oh, the nade coming in there. 2 men gone, courtesy of SEMPHIS. That is a solid hold so far for the TSM side. Mixwell alone now in the drop. We'll see if he can do any more damage. Nice little second jump there, actually. He flew in the air like a swan, Dan, but he will fall like a ton of bricks to FNS's fatmats.
Yeah, and I have to say, I do see this kind of behavior from teams a lot, where they don't recognize how to play an advantage correctly. Obviously, you can't, like, it's the idea of, do you need to gamble away, or do you need to go for a gamble to try to find an edge that doesn't exist, versus maintaining the edge that you currently have already? And I think you can make a strong argument there for TSM just to hold that B site. And you know, either way, as you said, they did win the round. So TSM 5-2. They forced Optic now to a bit of a quasi buy, I do believe. Let's see if the quasi can actually get anything done here with these Tech 9s and these Kevlars. And daps there taking control of connector. Oh dear, autimatic's really caught out of position in connector somehow there. And now FNS is the only man anywhere near the A bomb site, and this position is a little bit awkward. He'll get a free frag because again his position is kind of weird, but he will get traded through the smoke there. Tech 9 bullets raining on through. In fact, no, it wasn't even, that was from behind, in fact. So very, very bizarre situation here. I guess FNS must have heard them running long and was like, oh god, I can't, they're going to beat me to the site. I have to stay down here. And it looks like they're going to lose the round from this, James. What a weird round, I must say. Like
the scientist dog, Dan, I have no idea what's happening right now.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
That too. SEMPHIS is still lurking over towards the A site, but really there isn't much that can be done in a situation. Twistzz hunting for frags. He has got some money in the bank. I do wonder what the rest of the team has. Seems like the CTs are in a position to buy, at least if they save these 2 weapons. So they're trying to do as much damage to the Optic side as they can to break them in a future round. Indeed, the buy will come out for TSM on top of their economy, opting for an aggressive save there, which is fine with me. 5-3. 5 rounds on the CT side, I'd say is good. 5 from 8 is good. Again, they're going for double ops. So we've seen a variation from autimatic. Again, I think if his that previous round where he gets the aggressive pick, if his teammate is covering lower for him, he can go for those peaks all day around those corners. Very hard to pre-fire successfully. But it is a new day, a new dawn, new round. Oh, SEMPHIS down to 9 HP and Twistzz. You wonder if they got double naded while I wasn't watching, I'm not sure. But that does not bode well for the TSM side going forward.
Yeah, I agree. And well, either way, they do have a B push coming in. SEMPHIS is so low on health though. It is quite scary, and the positioning here is not good for TSM. They're all over the place. They have a man pushed in the A side and one defensive still by the doors. They really could use all 4 players towards B at this point. Will they start to realize though, autimatic is in this area of connector with the AWP. That could be very awkward. Players could rapidly assault him from close range. Not the ideal. Now, here we go. Smokes over the top. B push, ready to roll. And roll it will. Straight in. Looking for the frags here. SEMPHIS picks up the first one. He is so easily wallbangable, but he'll get taken down anyway. NAF is in close. He'll get eliminated by Sick. Sick looking for more, but it's Rush instead for the TSM, or the Optic side, that is able to put the last nail in the coffin for TSM in that round. And the money for TSM has finally hit a bit of a bump in the road. And now Optic really have a good chance back in this one. 5 rounds isn't too bad for a CT side, but I don't even know how many rounds these teams should be getting on their respective sides.
Yeah, it's actually impressive to see how many rounds TSM have had the double ops for so far. But I think autimatic's, all the kills he got on the A site were not something you can really expect to do commonly. So ignoring that round, I don't know how useful the double ops have been for them, but by the way, they do find themselves with the Force, a rifle, an SMG, and 3 CZs. We saw the danger of those CZs in round 2 after they lost a pistol. So with the other rifles in tow, we'll see if they can do any better. There are 3 Molotovs here for the T side and a Bison onto NAF-FLY. He's gone for the Bison, Dan. Maybe expecting a lack of helmets there. FNS with 1 frag. And again, the TZs coming and putting in work. Only 2 Ts left, an AK and a Bison, Dan. If Sick is found by that Bison, Bison turn it into an AWP now. But the AWP is all that's left. Perfectly timed flashbang coming in. And SEMPHIS gets an AWP back for his team and a force buy round.
No one checked the corner, and that's why the round is over. No one checked the corner. The boost spot, no one checked it. They're just staring into a wall. That is one of those mistakes that shouldn't happen. That's really unfortunate.
You can Molotov that position, if I'm not mistaken, before even getting into that area. You can have a guy holding an angle from danger and you can drop a Molotov in there.
As James would like to say, it's an unforced error right there, and that's going to cost them the round, to be honest. Oh dear. Now that is interesting, isn't it? Because now Optic, their economy, I mean, sure they can buy now, but I would wager that their money is screwed if they lose this round. So here comes the push. SEMPHIS with the first shot. He's close, though. He's committed. He had to hit that shot. They're in trouble now as the push comes in. And as you can see, 3 frags going rapidly the way of Optic, but it's a 2 versus 2 with the health advantage on the TT side. The bomb needs to be planted, needs to be picked up, and FNS finding his way around the back of daps. And now it's just NAF by the boulder. His position unbeknownst to the CTs as well, as he looks to see what he can get done here. Maybe a sneaky flank, but he is found, and he is dropped by FNS. Nice little double at the end of the round to save the day as they look for the AWPs, but they will not find them. But either way, it won't matter too much because Optic are really screwed for money. TSM are in a really good position right now. A really good position, James. A really good position. This can turn into a match-winning position.
Yeah, I'm liking how many rounds they have on their CT side so far. It's looking pretty good for them, all good in the hood, Dan. And indeed, this is their pick, let's not forget. So the Molotov comes in a bit late, though. A bit greedy, perhaps, is FNS with that Molotov. I mean, you should know your timings if you're going to go down there with a Molotov. But autimatic with the save here. 2-man spray down for him, leaving. There are still 3 players alive, make that 2. NAF-FLY and Rush taking pot shots through the smoke, and that just gives the CT the clues they need as to where this round will finish up. The bomb is in their control as well. So autimatic doesn't even need to go for the 1 versus 1s anymore. Oh, here's Rush fighting through the flames. He's still going back. He just can't help himself down. He's got 3 teammates, and that's going to be important that he saves the stuff he's carrying for the later rounds. So Optic get nothing done really on their eco round, excuse me. 3 rounds left in this half. TSM looking dangerous.
They're looking really dangerous. Obviously Optic can fight back in this round, but things look very bad for them. If they lose this one, it starts to get really terrible. It's still a way back in this one for them otherwise. But TSM can play these advantages well. It should be good. That said, actually, they don't have really the best advantages in the world. In fact, they have some disadvantages here. Their weaponry is kind of suspect as they are carrying the Galil and the UMP still up against a full lineup of AKs. The drop comes in, it will be heard here. Oh, but the lineup is ridiculous. That looks, again, like a little bit of a misplay from TSM to be lined up in that way. Once they had the drop, caught out of position, sprayed down. Mixwell now finding the side of FNS, who also looked to be a little bit out of position there, unawares to the potential for Mixwell to be so deep on the site. And TSM gets shut down. And again, it feels really strange there. I'm trying to figure out what the TSM side were trying to accomplish in the drop there after you hear the drop down.
There was a team we saw recently who were going for double peaks on the CT side. It was just like 2 people running into the drop. I don't remember what team it was, but it kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, it's just careless play because people are looking for duels down. Deathmatch mode.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a scary situation for TSM now because they have to bide to within their last, and Finesse can't even get really any nades or even a rifle. So Optic are now essentially in a better position because they have all the nades. This round should really be defined by excellent individual play. If TSM are to win it, it's going to be down to that individual skill because they do not have really all that much else in the way of advantages potentially. We'll see. Twistzz trying to flash his way in, and he gets completely wrecked there. His peak was a bit too quick.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he's only trying to use a flashbang because he's been punished for not using one in the previous round, where he should be playing correctly in the first place.
Yeah, it's a very disadvantageous duel. It's one of those gambles where it's like, okay, you know, maybe 50% of the time I'll win this duel, or maybe even less. But the times you don't, your team is in a really terrible position. Although that said, the numbers are evened up here, and Finesse might find a fact he will. No time for a reload for him, though, as that CZ is going to run out of bullets. But in comes autimatic, as he is clued up to what's going on. But, oh, I think Rush saw the barrel of the gun, and indeed he's going to get an easy frag there. Great vantage point to the second frag, potentially, but autimatic will walk away from that one. But weak, and his position is known as daps. You see the shadow, the spray will finish off autimatic. Down to 6 now, 1 versus 2. He's going to run through the flames. Smart play here. That's going to give him a free frag. The bomb's going to go over the top there. That's going to stop FACEIT from being able to stop, or rather punish the pickup. And now Rush will be in a clutch 1 versus 1. And Rush is probably the player you want. Rush or Mixwell, I think, in this position for the Optic side.
Oh, interesting plant. He could actually... He could go to main and then drop into drop zone with the kind of plant that he's put in there. But wow, okay, well that happened. I was gonna say, like, it's a bit of an interesting situation being stuck on the statue, but easy for Rush. So Optic, don't let I mean, I was thinking maybe we're gonna see an 11-4 here, but Rush and the rest of the Optic side are keeping it competitive and making it less clear as to who will take this map. We move into the last round with 4 CZs and a 5-7 onto the TSM side, and instant aggression here. A 2-man boost it looks like, but there is a bit of a failure there. Noise will be made and grenades will be thrown. FNS is failing so hard right now.
Yeah, a little bit awkward.
It was like, I feel like his teammate was crouching, so he could only stand to face. Well, I didn't even know what was going on there, but it's like, how many people does it take to boost one person into the drop? Apparently more than 3, Dan.
Yeah, and one thing for me regarding this drop zone, although I can hold the fort just for a moment here, Twistzz will die as he's flashed into oblivion. One thing it feels like for me is that I feel like Optic always know that there's going to be someone who wants to try to pick them from drop zone. I feel like they know that every single round, that they can outplay somebody on drop to get a kill. And I don't get that feeling from a lot of other teams, which is an interesting thing. For a lot of other teams, I'm actually thinking more of the time, what is their drop setup? Is there even going to be anyone in there? Will there be one person on one side, or will there be someone on either side? You know, maybe are they actually playing somebody in there this time? Like, it's actually, there's much more variation, much more guesswork, so you don't want to waste as much time. But Sick actually trying to make a go of this in a 1 versus 3. We get eliminated in the end for the 8-7. Optic, you know, climbing back, but I feel like there's a lot of opportunities here for TSM to run away with it, and ultimately they didn't.
Yeah, well, let's see if you know, we know kind of standards for rounds, but who knows how many rounds each of these teams need to take it over the line for their respective teams in the second half. Time will tell. So SEMPHIS doing better than he was on the previous map. He's got 12 kills now, pretty much on average with the other 3 on his team, Sick a few less. Mixwell up there for his team. NAF-FLY down at the bottom just with 4 kills on his T side.
You can see Sick was he's the lowest fragging player. He's the guy playing the drop. It feels like that position isn't very comfortable at all for the Optic side. I actually didn't, sorry, the TSM side. I actually didn't see their match against Luminosity. I'm pretty sure we didn't cast that. I think it would have been Matt and Henry that casted that. But I must have missed that one.
You mean when they won?
Yeah. So
I think we casted it.
Did we cast it?
I'm pretty sure we did.
I don't remember, Jay.
We did cast it, yeah.
Yeah, my memory is not working for me very well today, recently. So either way, I do not recall how they played drop previously is what I'm trying to say. But the pistol comes in, and it's like Optic will get the first frag, but TSM might have the last laugh. We'll have to see as the frags get traded equally backwards and forwards as the bomb is dropped on the site. FNS will pick up one as well. So things looking pretty decent here for TSM, despite the bomb being down there. It's going to be picked up. Oh, the tag for stanislaw is actually quite strong there. Get the finish though. No, gets nailed. Nailed.
Well, now there's a 2 versus 1, but this is entirely doable for NAF. Both players in the same place. I like that. If SICK goes down, then FNS doesn't even need to show straight away. Although, maybe NAF hears the reload of the gun. I'm not sure. He's looking for the second player. He's looking for the trade fragger at the very least. He has a kit, so he can go for the hero defuse. SICK just went for the shoulder peek there. Going forward again, and he's going to get one tapped. But NAF-FLY is running out of time to go for the defuse. Oh, FNS goes straight into the crosshair. And he gets the kill. That looks scary.
Yeah. And,
if you're a TSM player.
And this is the thing, right? Because we look at this and we're thinking, oh, God, you know, they got a lot of CT. Well, actually, they got a lot of CT rounds, but we don't know how many rounds either team should get on which side. TSM could have just like ridiculously explosively good T side now, for all we know, right? Or, you know, Optic could have a crazy CT hold. It's really unknown at this point. Hard to really predict. And we're going to see that boost that basically wrecked the hell out of Optic previously, used by Optic now to try to wreck TSM straight back. Taste of their own medicine maybe, but no one's going to be walking into this. 3 players towards the A-long area there.
There are 2 Molotovs on the T side. Well, so far so good. Just moving into A with all the numbers quickly so they can trade should it be required. daps is doing work with the P250 once again, and the NAF-FLY is coming in now. This lack of nades may be hurting TSM a bit. Twistzz is going to go down, but the rest of their players have most of their HP, and daps finds himself alone. They know where daps was getting the frags from. It's going to be important for TSM to cover that one gun that went down and just hold the site otherwise. That's hunted, that's dead. So FNS and Co don't get force sports. They don't lose the force buy as Optic did. Although I think Optic actually went for more of an eco, where TSM went all in. So Optic find themselves 4 rounds behind, playing the long game. They will have a good buy in the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. So able to survive that sketchy one. Let's see if they can survive a round that looks quite unassuming. It's just some PT50s, but you know you never know. If you let your guard down, you can get destroyed. So let's see how TSM's guard looks here. Looks so far so good, and like shooting fish in a barrel. 10-7, seem to be 11-7.
Yeah, I think Optic have just accepted that they would rather just proper double eco when they lose pistol rounds on CT sides at the very least, rather than gamble and have a crap economy and maybe just be unable to, you know, if you go for those force buys, then and you lose that first buy rounds, then that gives your opponent a great chance to run away with the game, especially in second half. So Optic go for the slow and steady route, even if they are already behind. So we will be moving on to 11-7, but Optic will have the big buy coming out, much bigger than it otherwise might be.
A little bit surprised at the attempt to get a kill there with such low HP, instead of just holding on to the AK. I would have held on to the AK, James.
Yeah, I mean, he can die and he has the same money as the rest of his teammates, but his impact on his opponent's economy might not be that great, considering they have 2 wipeout rounds against your basically full ecos. So that's maybe a bigger adjustment along with their eco choices. We have the team moving on to the B bomb site. Rush will get the first frag for his side, but with this big buy, can the CTs hold on? Another kill for Rush, going down, but he finally gets traded, so 3 versus 3.
Yeah, NAF is actually in a great position here under the smoke. They might completely miss that he could be here.
The boost repeatedly again.
They will hear a bullet there, not knowing where it comes from, but the Twistzz position up on the tree is looking good to do the damage. Eventually he did get there, and it ended up being worth it. But Stanislaw has picked up an AWP, he's going to get spotted. He tanks one through the door. which is back for the M4. Everybody on the server right now is below 14 points of health.
Wow.
Which is quite hilarious. Everyone is scared, James, right now. Everyone's in panic mode, survival mode. No one wants to take a fight. So TSM will win this round. And that's bad news here for Optic, who are in a position where they can, if you're just joining us, they lost the first map, which was their choice. And now TSM are in a commanding position, but we saw that on the first half. Although that said, you know, the expectation is, you know, quite a bit more rounds on the T side than on the TT side. But I think the Cobblestone that we saw yesterday, no, not yesterday. Was it yesterday? I get the days blur together, James. I don't even know anymore. But the last Cobblestone game that we saw had a lot of CT rounds. So
I'd wonder if Stanislaw's, did he see him there?
Can you?
I think maybe he came up on the radar because he goes back like, It's kind of like when we get solid, right? When you make a noise and the question mark comes up against the, yeah. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, but I was really curious as to whether whether or not his angle was exposed to that position because I had no idea.
Well, TSM with a very strong buy now, and Optic only have the AWP on mixwell. So they are definitely not in the best spot here. And where is mixwell? He's on the B bomb side, it seems, on the plateau. Trying to get that first quick peek and quick kill, but TSM, they look like they're going to circumvent this this early round B stack and move up middle. If they're fast enough, they should be in a good position. But daps again with this P250. He's coming in from the back right now. He's going to find every single player pretty much, but oh, he gets slapped down.
He's got to aim for the head. I think he was panic shooting into the chest there, but it's a one tap to the face from that range. Anyway, mixwell is alone versus 2 now. Do they realise where he is? Doesn't seem so. He did rattle the stuff off earlier, but there we go. Autimatic goes down. The bomb is still on the floor. SEMPHIS opting for the engagement as opposed to the bomb plot. He has a minute with which to do this, and mixwell is repositioning. And he's legging it, so maybe he's got to read that it's a bit of a rotation to... No, he's just going for...
I think what he's doing is he's trying to basically, if SEMPHIS tries to play the clock, which Twistzz will do immediately with this much time on the clock, what mixwell can do is go all the way around and try to meet the rotation, and SEMPHIS might not expect someone to be there if he was doing that, but otherwise this happens. SEMPHIS waits so much time because he's got so much time to use that mixwell gets in an unknown position and he covers his other option of if there was a rotation from SEMPHIS, which there actually wasn't in this instance. So now mixwell knows exactly what's going on.
I feel like mixwell had a read that SEMPHIS is looking for him because the bomb didn't go down. So he's just gambled on going for a rotation across the entire map.
Boom, and this is it. SEMPHIS will not realize that he's there. This is the last place he expects, and you can see that with where he's looking, and it's an easy frag for mixwell, and he picks up the round. Very nicely played. This is something, by the way, I think that only really works when you're playing players of a certain experience and level, because then basically mixwell can gamble on what is very likely a plays from SEMPHIS. And he can pretty much be like, okay, I'm pretty certain he's going to do this. But there are some players, more inexperienced players, that might just like do something completely different and not try to use the clock. Because using the clock is the best thing to do for SEMPHIS there.
It takes guts to make that play from mixwell as well. Yeah. If he is rotating literally around the entire map because he thinks SEMPHIS is going to sit there and wait for mixwell to push, that's a read that's rarer, but also pretty damn sick to see. So mixwell showing his strength again, if our reads are correct of that situation. 3 over towards long for TSM. You can see Sick has been lost to mixwell, so you have to wonder if mixwell and co can use that now, use that momentum to continue things. Mixwell's going back, he's looking for more, and you have to fancy his chances, even with SEMPHIS in tow. But Dan, I doubted SEMPHIS and he proved me wrong. I'll never do it again.
Well, it's hard. It's hard. Mixwell's in there, in the mix. Oh, I did not. That was definitely not intentional. He's in the mix there, so it's hard not to be rooting for him as well. But here it is. SEMPHIS has stood in charge, but for how long will he remain on the throne? Here's daps pushed out by the Molotov. He will get fragged as well. TSM looking great in this round. In comes NAF though. One quick kill. He's known, and the headshot is found, runs out of bullets, and things getting a little bit awkward here. SEMPHIS needs to clutch this now, 1 versus 1. Incendiary is thrown in. Oh, the reload at the worst possible time. Pulls out the USP. How on earth is NAF allowed to pick up this clutch? And Optic will survive. But there is now one more buy on TSM. And Optic, they must win this round. They must win this round.
Yeah, things are getting awkward now. Things are getting mad awkward as Optic continue to close. Even, the thing is, even if TSM lose this round, then 12-12, they have another max buy, pretty much. So Optic are going to be feeling the pressure. Let's see what the play is of TSM. Going slowly towards B, not wanting to give their position away. The smoke is down, and daps is going to go behind the box with the UMP. Again, we saw, I want to say it was Sick, who's playing close to the smoke in this position to punish them as they come out. So daps is maybe inferior in that sense. Two-man spray down though for NAF-FLY. Twistzz and Sick going to leave the building 3 versus 3. NAF-FLY will finally be dispatched off. Stanislaw unable to trade again. SEMPHIS and autimatic heavily tagged, but it's mixwell. Only needs to hit these players once. Hits these players once. Off from his position, autimatic lucky not to get fragged there, but now things get a bit difficult for mixwell, and he will make his escape. His opportunity has been lost, and the CT economy has been reset.
Yeah, mixwell's got to fall back and save that orb. Optic in a very poor spot right now. If we check their money, you can see that they have nothing going for them. They'll get $1,400 in this round, meaning that most players will be between 2 to 3K. Mixwell himself is going to have 4K. So, yeah, it's they need to basically quasi to have a proper buy in the following round. And maybe Mixwell will drop a pistol or two. But yeah, not the best spot in the world. However, he does, Mixwell does have an AWP still, and we've all seen it before. An AWP in the right place at the right time on a round like this can mean all the difference, and it is in good hands.
Did you see that chicken just darting?
I didn't actually.
Usain chicken. Anyway, so it's the AWP, the Mag 7. Although I think you do have to count the P250s as well, because pistols seem to be stronger across the pond. Let's see what the TSM anti-eco is like. We've got a few Molotovs. A few HEs as well. Although, I think the Molotovs have more utility than the HEs, especially on this map. But I think they definitely... I will say they definitely do. I don't think they do. I know they do. Either way, TSM have opted for the 2 HEs. There definitely needs to be... We're not really seeing many Molotovs in the Mag 7 position. I feel like that's something that we will eventually see when you're expecting a force buy from your opponents, because it's so strong in that role. FNS is going to be presented. Frags here. Stanislaw coming into the back to take down autimatic. But so far so good for the teams. There is 1 AK, and now it is now gone for the CTs. Daps alone with the P250. So we're looking at 14-9 before Optic get on their next buy. Ooh, FNS. Got to commit to one position. He doesn't need to look over there from where he is. If he plays close to the wall, then he more or less gets better cover of both angles, basically. So where that door is, if he stands there, he doesn't need to be exposed to drop, looking at the other side. So a bit of an error there. It's like on Mirage as well, when you're in a jungle area as a T. You can look towards connector, you can look towards ladder room, or you can look towards the crawl space. You can position yourselves and commit to one of them. 2 rounds away now, TSM, from a 2-0 down.
Yeah, it's really getting very close now for TSM. And that's what makes me the most afraid for them. It's like when TSM are in a position where they could win, James, that's when I'm most afraid. For them, at the very least, Optic. I've got to say, Optic, they've not been having the best day in many senses. And, Mixwell, they've relied a lot on him in certain spots, and it's a lot to ask. But just like this round, he's going to deliver something. He's going to deliver a frag or deliver 6 straight to the bench. Now as FNS will try to wrap around the side in A long to get some position going for TSM. And we do have, I think it's NAF towards the bottom of mid. And there's another CT in the A site. So, okay, then NAF is actually dropped. It's Stanislaw. And Stanislaw will get that frag on SEMPHIS, who's pushing it. So FNS now was not able to get the trade. So 2 early frags here for Optic in TSM. They're in a bad way right now. autimatic, he's in a good position. This is a spot where he needs to basically find a good timing to peek and just get a frag or 2. And then in that distraction, you know, his 2 teammates could push towards A, but it looks like they actually want to all go together. So actually they're going for a different call here, all piling back into B plateau and seeing if they can just take down all these CTs. Here's autimatic with the first peek, gets completely dropped, just smacked down by that Mag 7 with the jump. And now life gets very, very hard here for TSM. And they're actually opting to save the rifles. And well, it is quite smart considering how much money they're holding. Oh, they're doing
finally we have the double toilet save. Oh, single toilet save.
Wow.
I'll take that. Finally, someone's got into the bog stand. It's Glastonbury time. Let's go.
I'm not sure when I last saw that. First time this season, that's for sure. So, TSM falling apart a little bit there and losing all those pick situations. This is actually a spot that I've talked about quite a few times before, where when you lose that first guy on the picking and then all of a sudden you try to reinvest in another one and then he dies, then it's like, okay, what do we do now? How do we trade into a position? Well, you can't, because if you try to do that, you're going to be left with like 1 or 2 guys. Then what are you going to do? So anyway, next round, 14-10. Are TSM going to be able to save themselves here, James? I don't think they've got much money left to play with.
Yeah, does not seem that way. I didn't even think they'd get this buyout, so well done to them. 4 rounds in the hole though, and again their loss bonus is starting to go up. mixwell spotting some players coming in, and yet there's no rotation from the B bomb site. So my question is, do Optic have a setup over towards A where the AWPer and Rifler can support each other? Because their positioning is quite weak at the moment. mixwell is just running around hunting, trying to figure out where he can put a stop to this impending push. The choke point's being smoked off by the T's. SEMPHIS is running up there, and stanislaw will take him down for free. Absolute free. Did I even realise where he is? Finally, he goes down. So, Rush alone on the site. Sorry, he's not alone. mixwell's on the site with the AWP. 3 versus 3. And there we go. More free attacks coming in for the CTs. Twistzz alone versus daps. Daps for the UMP. We'll see if Twistzz takes the time that SEMPHIS did. He won't. Daps should surely find a gun. But if he does and picks one up, then his position will be known. Spotted and finished off. Nice play by Twistzz. Yeah. AWP picked up as well. Match point. First of a few.
Sick round from Twistzz. He got 4 kills in that round. And very, very decisive, very quick kills indeed. And that's going to be what pulls TSM right onto that 15-round situation. Right onto match point. And now things get really bad for Optic because they're on an even worse buy. This time there is no ult for mixwell. There is only a Mag 7. So, oh god, it's a little bit horrible, isn't it?
God.
If you're an Optic fan. But situationally, you can use obviously the Mag 7 to great effect. And there is 4 players here for Optic towards the B bomb site. So we'll have to see if they can get something out of this, or if they are going to get upset by TSM. It's quite likely at this point. There's NAF with a scout. This is the gun to do it with. They can pick off someone early. Oh, the headshot needs to connect. NAF misses 2 shots to deep smoke there, and an extra peek perhaps. As NAF tries to get something desperately, but nothing is going his way just yet.
I'm worried that maybe this is going to be another round where the T's wait too long to push a site, where they have no choice but to desperately try to plant the bomb. We will see. 50 seconds on the clock now. They know there is a scout over towards the balcony area. The smoke is starting to come in, but they're still trying to shoulder peek the scout, which hasn't got any tags yet. Finally, SEMPHIS puts an end to the shenanigans of NAF-FLY. 3 players over towards B for Optic. TSM now, 35 seconds left. They're still not pushing a site down. The clock continues to tick, and I continue to worry that they are not going to leave themselves enough time. Trying to go for the peaks there onto mixwell. He doesn't get any kills at Mag 7, and TSM will continue to charge. The UMP, the FAMAS onto stanislaw, and Rush is all that's left. SEMPHIS point blank range with some savagery. Now, stanislaw alone, but 2 of the 4 players, actually a lot of players are tagged in various ways, but it won't be any relevant because TSM are going to take it almost, I want to say it's a comfortable 2-0 for TSM versus Optic.
It does look fairly comfortable. It does look like they were able to do better as a team, and individually we had some good performances there from not necessarily players that we would really look to. When you're thinking TSM, we're not going to say Sick is going to be the guy that steps up on the CT side of Cash to deliver essentially a save, because for the half, because they started things off going down 7-2 or even 8-2, something like that. Then they came back 8-7. So that's like that enabled them on the T side to then have the breathing room to be comfortable. Or we wouldn't say that, oh, you're expecting Twistzz to be the guy that's going to be able to get the clutch plays and the clutch fragging with the rifle to then pull TSM over the line in these very, very important rounds. But he was. So great to see some new people stepping up, because SEMPHIS today definitely wasn't the usual SEMPHIS that we usually see. Definitely a bit below his performances that we know and love.
Yeah, but his team, I mean, imagine that. He's not performing, but this is the time where his team take their best of 3. Kind of crazy. But great. Great for the TSM side going forward as well. So a bit of a spanner in the works for Optic, a team who you may expect to be higher up the ladder in the ECS League. We'll look at that in a future cast. Anyway, that's the only match we have for today's broadcast. We will be back tomorrow with some European and North American action, so make sure you're following the channel, and we will see you back here tomorrow.